we would like to take you on a garden visit to a landscape with history and a mystery, and to a room with a view too. We're heading to Sharpham on the banks of the River Dart, where we find archivist and gardener Richard Soans.
Well, this is a series of 4 paintings, and they're quite unusual because they were commissioned at the time that this present house was built and that the landscape was designed. And they really show the house as it used to be before in the original landscape, and then the house as it is now, or nearly as it is now. So these were done in about the late 1770s when the house was commissioned. Do you know the story of Sharpham?
No, tell me.
Well, the story of Sharpham is that before the present house there was a Tudor manor house. So this painting shows the original Tudor house with a formal garden on one side of it. You can see very clearly the River Dart, and it just looks like a fairly agricultural scene.
And the house is very isolated. I mean, it looks as though it has literally been dropped into...
Yes, there's nothing else about, and you just get a huge view right out to Haytor and the moors behind, which you still get from the same viewing spot today.
But the house has changed, and the painting next to it is really very different. That is a marked change, isn't it?
Yes, this is the first stage of the rebuilding that Robert Taylor did. You see, to the right of the painting is the new bit of house, but the left-hand side of the house is the old house. It's apparently the only place that Robert Taylor built a new house on the site of an old house, because he said it was such a wonderful site, he couldn't possibly find anywhere better to build it.
And clearly there were changes to the garden as well in this one.
Yes, you can see the tree planting has changed. It's become more open, it's become more park-like. We now have the bathing house down on the edge of the river, but you still get the wonderful view up to the moor and across the Devon countryside.
Our story continues with a third painting.
We're now looking at the other side of the house. We're looking at the front of the house. And this is how the house is today. And again, it shows the bathing house, shows a sailing boat on the river, the lime kilns, which are all still there. And it shows the River Dart curling around and going off up towards Totnes, although in this painting there's no sign of Totnes.
It certainly shows the elevation of Sharpham. I mean, it's up here on the hill. In a way, does that enhance the possibilities for the garden, even today?
Yes, I think it makes it an incredibly interesting site.
But challenging?
I don't think it is any more challenging than any other garden, really, because actually the formal garden round the house is not all that big. It's not a huge garden. I mean, the design landscape is large, but the actual formal garden round the house is not all that large.
When you say large and not large?
Well, the whole idea of the 18th century Capability Brown's design was to sweep away formal gardens and make it look as if the landscape went straight up to the house. So there was really no garden on some sides of the house. It was just, there were ha-ha walls to stop the cattle and the sheep coming from the parkland into the area near the house. But visually, it just looked as if the grass went straight on to the house, or when you were in the house, there was an unbroken line out into the